What's up, nerds and geeks? My name is OMG, WTF, LOL, FTWBRB. Welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling 2016. We are playing as the WWF in the year 2001. More importantly, we are booking the invasion angle, and we are going to be running WCW Nitro. You might notice we're already on the pre-show screen. We didn't really have anything of locker room incident-wise to talk about. Nothing really else of note to talk about, so I figured let's just skip that few second little thing there and just start off the show right away with our one and only pre-show match that gets a C- rating. Subpar Wrestling, Little Heat, Chavo Guerrero Jr. defeating Scotty 2 Hotty with a pinfall. Chavo with the C- and Scotty with the D+. We aren't going to be turning him quite yet, but we will be doing that very shortly. So, yes. We start out the show with an A-star rating. Hell yes. A-star rating. Nitro opens up with Diamond Dallas Page making his way down to the ring. He's clearly pissed off, and he gets in the ring, he takes the mic, and he says, "You guys want to know something that really grinds my gears? When people who are supposed to have your back completely turn on you. Hey, Book, I didn't know you took lessons from the New World Order on how to be a jerk. Regal, Shane, I don't care who it is, but I want you to come out here and fix this by giving me my rightful one-on-one match with Booker T for the WCW World Championship." But instead of getting Shane or Lord Steven Regal, that is when Booker T, the WCW Champion's music hits, and out he comes. And he says, "Page, shut the hell up. Coming out here talking all this BS. Turn my back on you? Man, it was a four-way match. Every man for themselves. I know Shane told us to make sure that the WWF didn't walk away with my title, but the key word there being my title. And I wasn't letting your dumb ass walk out with it either. You ain't getting any damn title match against me. I've beaten you twice already, man." Hold on, gotta go do a notepad here as Booker T continues saying, "Get in the back of the line already. But hey, if you want me to beat your ass again, I have no problem doing that. It just won't be in a one-on-one match, and it won't be for the WCW title." DDP then responds, "Yeah? Then exactly what are you talking about?" "What I'm saying is, your punk ass can go find yourself a partner and meet me and my partner later tonight in the ring." And then DDP says, "All right, but only on one case. Once I beat you," he pretty much says, I didn't mean to say one case, but he goes on to say, "Once I beat you, then Lord Regal or Shane McMahon won't have any choice or any excuse to not give me my WCW title match. So we're going to have a pick your poison kind of thing." Shane shouldn't have been there. I probably should have taken him off as the manager. I forgot about it. A little bit of a pick your poison, as Booker T has no interest in facing DDP one-on-one or for his title ever again. He's beaten him twice in his mind, although DDP feels he still owed his title shot, considering that that was a fatal four-way match, and in his mind he was too focused on ensuring the title doesn't go to WWF instead of, just being around his waist. So the two have agreed to find themselves tag team partners tonight, and they will go on to fight each other in tag team action in our main event tonight. Bobby Heenan was weak, unfortunately, as he usually tends to be, which is a shame. It did get to show off to a strong start, and got the crowd hotter. No worker improvements. That moves us on to our next segment, which gets a solid C rating, nerds and geeks. Dean Malenko, he's in the ring with a mic, and he says, "The King of the Ring may have not gone the way I had hoped, but one thing did happen in the King of the Ring that I would love to bring up. In round one, yours truly defeated the WCW Cruiserweight Champion, Rey Mysterio Jr. Now, Rey, you may have beaten me once before when the title was on the line. But after that win over you at the King of the Ring, that puts us both at one victory each. Plus, not to mention, since I beat you, that practically makes me the number one contender for your title. So why don't you come out here and let's do this right here, right now." But instead of getting Rey Mysterio Jr., he gets Rey Mysterio's friend, Billy Kidman, instead, as he comes out to the ring alongside his girlfriend, not Stacy Keibler, I'm just so used to her being the one to come out, alongside his girlfriend, Tori Wilson. And then once in the ring, Billy Kidman takes the mic and he says, "Look, man, you may have beaten Ray, but by no means does that make you the number one contender. That's something you've got to earn. That's something I want to earn. So if you want to take on Rey Mysterio for the Cruiserweight Championship, you got to go through me. And if you want to do that, then I say why not do it right here, right now. And then Dean Malenko agrees, and that sets up our opening match of the night, which will be for the number one contendership for the WCW Cruiserweight Championship, as Dean Malenko will battle Billy Kidman. And we move on to that match, which gets a B- rating. That's really good, actually, especially considering Billy Kidman's an opener. Really good, guys. B-, and about that had decent wrestling, but not much weight and heat. Billy Kidman goes on to defeat Dean Malenko in 8 minutes, 20 seconds with the Shooting Star Press. Malenko with the C+, Kidman with the C. All in all, both of you guys definitely outperformed tonight, meaning that we will see Kidman battle Rey Mysterio for the Cruiserweight Championship in the near future. That moves on to our next segment, which gets a B+ rating. Backstage, we see both Kanyon and Hugh Morris in the locker room. Morris, of course, is just going on and on and on as usual. And that's when Diamond Dallas Page walks in, and then Hugh says, "Oh my God, it's DDP. Diamond, are you here to ask me to be your partner tonight? Because I would like nothing more than to be by your side when we take on and defeat Booker T and whoever the lucky sucker is that is his partner." Do you see what I did there? Sucker. Because Book says it all the time. And then he just goes, "Would you shut up? I'm looking for Chris Kanyon." And then Hugh goes, "Oh, Kanyon. Hold on. Kanyon!" And he screams it back there. And that's when Kanyon walks in. He says, "The hell do you want? I can't get a moment of peace and quiet away from you." "Oh, what's up, Paige?" And then DDP says, "Hey, Kanyon, nothing much. Tonight, I need a partner. I've got a tag match against Book, and I figured since we've got history being former WCW Tag Team Champions and all, I'd give you first dibs. You in?" "Oh, hell yeah. I'll see you out there." And Paige says, "Cool." DDP then leaves, and Morris just looks up at Kanyon all super excited because his tag team partner's getting a main event spot tonight, and Kanyon just looks down at him and goes, "Shut up. Don't look at me like that." And that confirms that that now confirms who is going to be DDP's partner, as we know that it will be Diamond Dallas Page and Kanyon, former, I believe, 3-time WCW Tag Team Champions together, taking on Booker T and whoever he picks. It did get the crowd hotter. Page looked good. Morris underperformed, and Kanyon, of course, still hinting at the face turn, which will happen here very soon. I'm just going to say there. Hugh Morris, of course, learning to show more charisma. That's good for him. And not yet. We lead into our B+ rating here, or another segment that gets a B+ rating, I should say. Backstage, we're in Shane McMahon's office. We see him going over just a list of things for the King of the Rings, Chris Benoit, King of the Rings inauguration tonight. And Shane says, "We're going to need all of it. I'm talking food, drinks, cake, music, beautiful women, all of it, Regal. This inauguration party needs to blow the roof off the place. Not only is this a celebration of Chris's victory, this is a celebration for WCW. We got my dad in the WWF back into a corner, and soon enough, they'll be gone for sure. Now I'm counting on you." And Regal says, of course, "Oh, of course, Mr. McMahon, whatever, blah, blah, blah." And he races off to go get all the party supplies. And that is when we hear a familiar voice that says, "Oh, I wouldn't be celebrating just yet." And that's when Shane, of course, who is, laying in his chair, smiled, laid back. He jumps up and he says, "Heyman, how the hell did you get in here? What the hell are you talking about?" And Paul Heyman says, "Oh, I wouldn't worry about any of that stuff quite yet, Mr. McMahon. Don't let it stress you out. You've got a party tonight. Let's just say things are going to get extreme. I'll see you next week, Mr. McMahon." And that's when he leaves, and just Shane kind of sits there like, what just happened? So Shane McMahon, of course, worked the crowd well. They were both improvising here, both Regal and Heyman, or not Regal, excuse me, McMahon and Heyman. And it did start the part 2 of the invasion. As Paul Heyman, if you guys remember, last time we saw them, Mr. McMahon put Heyman on a personal mission, pretty much. Gave him a budget and said, "Go get me an army," and it looks like Heyman is back. He gave him a month. A month later, Heyman's now sending messages to McMahon, so who knows what's going to happen here. B+, though. Not too bad, guys. Good job. Oh, wow. This did really good, too. Holy shnikes. We get a solid A rating here. The Hardys are killing it, guys. solid A rating here. The Steiner brothers that are in the ring, they're waiting for their challengers because it was confirmed on Monday Night Raw that the Hardy Boys would be cashing in their rematch clause this week on Nitro. The Hardy Boys' music hits, and out they come. But before they enter the ring, Matt Hardy takes the mic and he says, "You know, Scott, Rick, my brother and I were talking, and you two have already proven that you can beat us in a normal tag team match. But we've proven time and time again that when things get taken up a notch, that we've got your number. They don't call us Team Extreme for nothing. So what do you two say? How about putting those WCW tag titles on the line in a no disqualification match?" That's when Scott Steiner takes the mic and he says, "You mean to tell me you two idiots want to face us in a match where we can do whatever we want to you? Whatever. It's your guys' funeral. Ref, ring the bell. This is now a no DQ match." And that leads us into our WCW Tag Team title match, gaining heat to this storyline as well. People are into this. Leads us into the match that gets a solid B rating. Hell yes. Solid B rating. And about that had great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. The Steiner brothers once again defeating Matt and Jeff Hardy when Scott Steiner defeated Jeff Hardy with the Steiner device, making their first defense of the WCW Tag Team titles. In terms of in-ring work, Scott Steiner, of course, head and shoulders above everyone else. Rick was, of course, still the weak link, and still a good match. Little bit of not a lot of psychology in this match, unfortunately, though. But that's to be expected when you have two young guys and then two guys who really don't know psychology and just know how to beat people up. I said it. Either way, though, this did pretty good. No DQ match, so anything goes during this match. I'm sure they had a lot of fun here. Rick Steiner and Scott, of course, had that great chemistry. Jeff and Matt had that excellent chemistry. Not enough selling shown as well, so that's unfortunate. Rick Steiner with a B-, so that's not a little... I mean, they make him seem like he was horrible, but B- rating, that's not the weakest, especially considering that both Matt and Jeff had B+. But Scott Steiner, of course, proven to everybody that he's the real star here with that A-star in-ring performance. No work or improvements to improve on, unfortunately, here, as we move on to our next segment and get a B+ rating here. Mean Gene Okerlund making his, I guess, in-game debut. Not really his debut, but here we got Mean Gene doing a backstage interview because, well, who doesn't love some Mean Gene Okerlund? Either way, he says, "All right, fans, joining me at this time is the Giant. Now, Giant, first, I'd like to congratulate you on your victory over The Undertaker at King of the Ring. But speaking of The Undertaker, he had some choice words for you on Monday Night Raw. Let's take a look." And then a video just plays highlighting pretty much what The Undertaker had to say to the Giant on Monday Night Raw. And then, after it's over, Mean Gene continues saying, "It would seem that the dead man isn't quite done with you yet, Giant." Any response? That's when the Giant responds saying, "Mean Gene, the dead man is all talk. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm through with him and his stupid burnt brother. The Giant has bigger and better things in his sights. Booker T, I'm coming for you and that world championship very, very soon." And he just walks away and pretty much telling The Undertaker, "I've beaten you. I don't want to do your dumb match at you, whatever you had to say on Monday Night Raw. I don't want to have another match with you. I've already beaten you. I'm done with you. I'm moving on to a world championship." And he just pretty much looks at Booker T. "I should be the WCW world champion. I'm coming for you." Bobby Heenan, unfortunately, still weak. Okerlund looked lost, unfortunately. But the Giant was the real star here in this segment. We then go to a B- rating. Stacy Keibler and Chuck Palumbo, they are out in the ring when Stacy takes the mic and she says, "In case any of you missed Raw this week, and I wouldn't blame you if you did, but just in case you missed it, let me show you exactly what happens when you cross Chuck Palumbo." And then that's when a video plays showing Chuck Palumbo's attack on Kurt Angle this past Monday Night Raw. And after it's over, Stacy continues saying, "You see, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're WWF or WCW, and it doesn't matter if you're an American hero like poor Kurt Angle." And that's when what was I even going to say there? That's when Rikishi's music hits, and out comes the big Quiche as he makes his way down to the ring with a mic in the hand, and he says, "You know, I was backstage, and I couldn't help hearing you brag about how no one should cross Chucky P here. And then you show a video of him beating up on my man Kurt? You think that's a sign that I should stay away from Chucky P? But to me, it's a sign of disrespect. And if anything, it doesn't make me want to stay away. It makes me want to teach your ass a lesson in respect. And that's when Rikishi swings with a right hook, connects with Chuck Palumbo, taking him down, and that starts an impromptu matchup between the two, Chuck Palumbo and Rikishi. Palumbo was improving in acting, that's awesome, and Stacy Keibler developing better performance. Good on you both. That leads us into our match, which gets a B- rating, and a decent match. Chuck Palumbo defeating Rikishi with the torture rack submission hold. How did you lift him up for that? Both superstars, never mind. Chuck Palumbo had a C+, and Rikishi had a solid C. I was going to say they had the same rating, but I didn't see the plus at first. B-, not too bad. Hopefully we can get Chuck up to those B ratings, though, but B- isn't still too bad. That moves us on to our next segment, which does get a solid B. Ooh. Let's fix that real quick. Let's go ahead and put that in here so I can remember it. Chuck Palumbo needs a new gimmick. Oh, it's misspelled gimmick. There we go. All right. Of course, you can see right here it's saying he's getting stale, so definitely want to fix that. So we have Chuck Palumbo, who's looking to send a message to, both Rikishi, who came out and disrespected him, and Kurt Angle, who he's currently feuding with, as he continues to beat down on the Big Quiche. But that's when Kurt Angle's music hits, and out comes the Olympic gold medalist, who races down to the ring to save Rikishi from a beatdown. And that's when, Chuck Palumbo, of course, leaves the ring with Stacy Keibler, and they start leaving the arena while Kurt's just begging them to get back in the ring. And Stacy just keeps looking at Kurt saying, or not looking at Kurt, looking up at Chuck, as she's holding him back, saying, another time, Chuck, another time, pretty much. So that moves on the feud between those two a little bit there. We go into our next segment, which is getting close to our main event. Solid B rating here, a freestyle segment. We didn't really have much to really comment on this because there's not much to really say. It's just Booker T introducing who his mystery partner is, which it turns out to be Ron Simmons. So, of course, we have DDP and Canyon out there waiting. Booker T comes out, does his normal spiel, and I'd imagine maybe them even throwing a jab at him about Stevie Ray. But Booker T says he's got a real pioneer and a real brother for his partner, and that'll be the hardcore champion Ron Simmons. Booker T came out excellent. Shane, of course, still helping. I got to take him off being manager right now. DDP came out excellent, and Canyon still using those face turns. So that moves... Oh, hold on. I didn't even check worker improvements, even though there are none. We move on to our main event of the night, which gets a solid B rating, Nerds and Geeks, and a good match. Booker T and... the WCW World Champion, not Women's Champion. World Champion Booker T and the WWF Hardcore Champion Ron Simmons defeating Diamond Dallas Page and Canyon in 10 minutes, 20 seconds, when Booker T defeated Canyon with the scissors kick after we had his distraction from Hugh Morris. So Morris, costing Page and Canyon the match, got up on the apron or something and started cheering for him, leading to Canyon getting distracted and into the super kick, thus leading to the world champion Booker T and his tag team partner Ron Simmons to get the victory. Canyon had an in-ring performance of a B-, Page with the B+, Ron Simmons with the B-, so Canyon and Ron Simmons at the same skill level here, I guess, and Booker T with an A rating, not too shabby. Booker's also improving in performance. We go to our next segment here, which gets a B+ rating, Nerds and Geeks. The match is over. DDP, he's yelling, he's screaming at Hugh Morris for costing them the title or the match against Booker T, because that was pretty much his chance for the world title again. He wanted to beat Booker T to get that championship match, but Hugh Morris cost him the match, and Hugh Morris is trying to explain himself to Page. Canyon, of course, is trying to keep things calm between the two, and that's when eventually Page, he's had enough. He pushes Canyon right out of the way, and then he hits Hugh Morris with the diamond cutter out of nowhere, laying him out to the mat. That upsets Canyon, who then pushes Diamond Dallas Page back and starts getting in his face and screaming at him while Page is like, all right, I'm sorry, whatever, I'm sorry, dude, I'm sorry. So Canyon is all pissed off because he just beat up on his partner, and then Page turns him around and grabs Canyon by the shoulder, turns him around, and then just hits him with the diamond cutter while he's distracted, laying both Morris and Canyon out to end off the show. And we are finally going to do the changes here, Nerds and Geeks. We've been building these two up for a while. I'd imagine, honestly, that Hugh Morris would have changed or turned a while back with the fans, chanting for him more. But this is Canyon's official face turn, showing that,
I don't want to say he cares for Hugh Morris, but Hugh Morris is his partner, and they're going to, he's not going to let pretty much, what am I saying? He's not going to let someone beat up on his partner pretty much. It's like a brother kind of thing. That's my brother, only I could beat up on my brother. So we have switched Canyon over to the Brain gimmick, which got an above average, meaning more that he's the brains behind the group. And then we go on, and his turn was also complete success. So both Canyon and Hugh Morris are now considered, or not are now considered faces. They are faces. The two official faces to turn for WCW. DDP came out looking excellent. Hugh Morris was underwhelming. Either way, though, great face turns. We then got a freestyle segment here. Nothing special, just Chris Benoit and Ric Flair making their way down to the ring as the announcers put over that the inauguration is up next. We go to that inauguration, which ends the show on a B+. The ring is all set up for the King of the Ring, or Chris Benoit's King of the Ring inauguration. We have Lord Steven Regal standing outside there with the ring, or in the ring, when he takes the mic and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is a special night. Tonight, a very gifted individual will make his first appearance since becoming a king. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce to you the WWF Intercontinental and the WCW United States Champion, your King of the Ring of 2001, the Canadian crippler, Chris Benoit." And then Chris Benoit, he makes his way down to the ring alongside Ric Flair. I wouldn't imagine Benoit wearing a crown or a robe or whatever the fuck they call him, looking all like a king. He's a lot more serious than that. Probably looks a lot of businessy, more, has a nice suit on and stuff like that. Makes his way down to the ring. Ric Flair, of course, does have the crown. He's carrying the crown on one of those little nice pillows, wooing and all that. Once in the ring, Regal then goes over, hands Ric Flair the mic, and shakes Chris Benoit's hand. And Flair says, "Ladies and gentlemen, the King of the Ring." And he goes, "The King of the Ring!" And then Benoit, he poses for the crowd. And Flair then goes to continue talking. But that's when Edge's music hits, and he interrupts the Nature Boy. And he comes down to the ring with a mic in hand, and he says, "Sorry to interrupt you, Your Highness, but I just had to come out here and call bull when I see it. You see, the records may show that you've beaten me in the past, but don't just sit back in your throne," and now we can go to our new promo down here, "and think for a moment that you beat me by yourself, because if it isn't my idiot brother who, despite having the best intentions, costing me my match, it's your pet old man, Ric Flair." And then Regal says, "You watch your mouth, Sunshine. Ric Flair's a legend in this business, and I won't stand by and let you disrespect him." And then Edge goes, "Oh, you're totally right, Billiam. Flair is a legend. A legend that is notorious for hanging on to what little star power he can. Why else do you think he's leeched on to Benoit? Look, Chris, you can have the previous 2 victories, because I want the 3rd. So what do you say, Your Royal Highness? How about you put one of those 2 titles on the line against me in just one more match?" Benoit then looks over, not Benoit, excuse me, Rick. I said Benoit because his name's right in front of my face, but Rick, he begins to laugh a little hysterically, like obviously faking the laugh before going to speak. But before he can say anything, that's when Benoit puts his hand over the mic and he takes it from Ric Flair and he says, "You sound a lot like your friend Kurt Angle. Excuse after excuse after excuse. I've beaten you twice already. You're not in the same class as me, Edge, and just like Kurt Angle, I don't have the time to waste on you." And then Edge goes, "I had a feeling you were going to say that, so plan 2. And then Edge goes running right at Chris Benoit, but the commissioner, Lord Steven Regal, he pushes Chris Benoit out of the way, taking the spear instead. So Edge spears Lord Steven Regal. Flair and Benoit get out of the ring, and they walk up the entryway while Edge is just kind of hanging out in the ring, smiling, hanging on the ropes, daring, begging Chris Benoit to come into the ring to end, pretty much to end off the show, standing tall in the WCW ring, interrupting the inauguration, while Benoit and Ric Flair have to leave, and the commissioner of Nitro, Lord Steven Regal, sits there just holding his gut because he just got speared. So the Benoit and storyline, Edge and Benoit's storyline has gained heat, so that's awesome, and then Edge is also improving in acting. Not too shabby. A rating for that show, that's a little surprising to me. I would not have thought that we would have got an A rating on this show, but somehow we did. I'm not complaining. That was an A star on Monday Night Raw. A rating here. Things are getting good, nerds and geeks. I'm having fun. increasing our popularity in 16 regions as well. Awesome, awesome. Look at this. Go Ito. What do we got here? Alright. I know some of you guys are noticing this. I'm not gonna say anything on it. I know you guys are probably like, why is Perry Saturn hurt? I won't lie to you guys. I did earlier, but I won't. I had another pre-show match, but I was hiding the person that who did it, and unfortunately Perry Saturn got injured in said match. So, Perry Saturn suffered a fractured cheekbone. I don't know if that'll keep him out or anything, but let's see. He's working through a fractured cheekbone. He's not currently, out for good. Not that it would matter to me, to be honest. That Perry Saturn is not in my plans for anything. But Perry Saturn apparently got hurt. Not apparently, he did get hurt. So that sucks for him. But again, I'm really not that worried about it. So yeah, you have that, guys. Let's check out storylines before we end off this show. So A-star, B+, hasn't started, B, C-, which we got to do something with these guys soon. Not too shabby. Everything's looking good. I'm satisfied. Hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. If you have, do me a favor. Leave me a comment, like, and subscribe if you have not already. And as always, Nerds and Geeks, my name has been OMG, WTF, LOL, FTW, BRB, and I will see you guys for Sunday Night Heat. But for those of you who don't watch Sunday Night Heat, I will see you for Monday Night Raw. So until then, have a wonderful day, guys.